So, Chip, I just wanted to start out by saying a few years ago, you sat down with Delaware Business Times to discuss your roots in Newcastle and discussing the thoughtful way your dad treated others and gave his time. You responded, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And caring has to be real, it has to be part of who you are. Can you reflect on how you would say like this life lesson has shaped your personal and professional self?
Yeah, well, one, I thank you for going back to look at that, and it just takes me back to two people that helped me become the person I am today, and I love deeply and dearly, and miss them every day. But it really, it's really just about um, treating people as you expect to be treated, and realizing that you know people are different. Um, you know, Behind every door, there are challenges, unique challenges that are going on, and it's just about being aware of that, and you know, understanding that in whatever you're doing, and realizing that you can only do so much, but you with others can actually amplify the result that you're working towards. You're blessed with certain gifts, but if you complement that with others' gifts, it allows to better outcomes in whatever you do, and that's really just stuck with me. And my dad, at his core was all about a hard day's work. He was a bricklayer, and just work hard at what you do, and hard work pays off. Somebody said to me a while ago that the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary.
That's
And
right.
my dad said it differently, which is, if you work hard, good things will come. And so if you do that, and then my mother just talking about just thinking things through, and part of thinking things through is just being aware of your actions, and be accountable for those actions. And when you make mistakes, just admit it, and learn from it, and try not to make the same mistake that you made before. It's really about being the best version of you. And I'm just blessed to have them as the foundation that hopefully they're looking up from me, looking down on me, and they're proud of the man that I've become. So.
I guess this is a question for both of you. But Bank of America obviously is a key corporate partner to Habitat for Humanity. Chip, as the market president for Bank of America Delaware, can you explain how that partnership with Habitat NCC at both the local and national level is maintained or balanced?
Yeah, the relationship both locally and nationally with Bank of America has spanned a few decades, nearly 3 decades. And the reality of it is that the work that Habitat does in helping to fulfill dreams of those that have a dream of home ownership has always been important. And in the fact that they work with folks that are pursuing that dream, and providing them with education that hopefully sets them up for success and their family up for success longer term. That could be, life changing for them. That's a wonderful thing. And that's the journey that the organization with Bank of America has been on for 30 plus years. But even more importantly is, Anjanae, when you look at what has happened throughout the pandemic and the light that it has shined on the inequalities that exist in predominantly communities of color, all that is done is just magnified really the importance of the work that Habitat for Humanity has done and has been doing. And what it's also done is said, how can we do more? How can we do more and help more people achieve home ownership, improve the quality of life, not only for themselves, but for families, for generations to come, right? The number one factor in wealth build is home ownership. And we know that the wealth gap, the racial wealth gap is enormous. And if we can close that gap through home ownership and create generations, future generations of that family, right? That sets them up for a better quality of life, that's a good thing. And so I think that goes back and gives you the context of the historical context, why it's so important right now in really the work that Kevin and the team that you're a part of, what we're thinking about is we're thinking about these next year, 2, 3 years of how we can have a greater impact on the community that we're all part of.
Absolutely. Did you want to add anything, Kevin?
I'll just say, working with Bank of America and all of its associates, really just, it means so much to all of us at Habitat for Humanity, not just here, but across the country. It's, one of the things you hear about is corporate responsibility or social responsibility. And we've just been so impressed with the commitment that Bank of America has made to housing, to Habitat, to so many causes. And it's not just financial, but the associates that come out, the employees that come out and volunteer. My team really enjoys working with the Bank of America associates on site. They're folks who are proud to want to be involved in the community and to give back. And so there's this, for us, it's a shot in the arm. We're kind of on the front lines doing this work, but to have Bank of America as a partner makes our work and how we do our work just go even further. So it's tremendous to have their partnership. And I know locally it's meant so much to us. So many people, including Chip from Bank of America, who deeply care about our community, and that comes out in how they work with us and work with so many in our community. So we're just so honored and blessed to have this partnership.
Yeah, Anjanae, I would just add, Kevin referenced, a shot in the arm for the organization. It's a shot in the arm for our organization as well. When the volunteers come out and they got a hammer in their hand, they have a hammer in their hand, knowing that they're making a difference and contributing in some way, and that's a wonderful thing. And we also know that we're not alone. There are many corporate partners that support the great work that Habitat's doing, but we're really, really proud of the work that we do together to help build a better community.
Mm-hmm.
And you touched on some of the struggles with this past year with the pandemic. Many nonprofits and organizations were struggling. Can you touch on your involvement in helping to lead the affiliate through the pandemic?
Well, listen, I will tell you, it starts with leadership. And Kevin, we are so blessed to have him as the chief executive for Habitat for Humanity, Newcastle County. He was poised was thoughtful, and did a wonderful job with Maureen's help. Maureen McDonald, as the board chair, jumped right in there with Kevin. And, we pulled together a team that met on a weekly basis, and, eventually it moved to every 2 weeks. But it was really about rolling up our sleeves and understanding, okay, all right, how do we think about things differently? Because with this pandemic, we're not going to have the volunteers that we had historically supporting our efforts. So how do we pivot and shift our models to continue to help those that are trying to fulfill their dream of home ownership and creating a better life for themselves and their families? And that's what we did. We pivoted. It was a word that you heard quite a bit, and that's what under Kevin's leadership we pivoted. And we're so grateful for him, but also to the staff and hanging in there with us in what was a very uncertain time where we didn't have all the answers, and you wanted answers, but you just had to work through it methodically and deliberately. And we did those things, and we're just blessed that it worked well, quite frankly, with a lot of hard work, a lot of discussion and debate. And quite frankly, I think we've come out of it as an organization stronger today than we've ever been as a result of it.
And of course, having, played a role in getting the affiliate through the pandemic, are there any obstacles that you anticipate on encountering as the new board president?
Well, look, I think the biggest thing for us as an organization is to continue to stay true to our mission. But the question that we're asking ourselves is, how do we increase the scale that we have today? Are there things that we can do today to help people in our community with the issues they have with housing that have direct correlation to health outcomes, right? And also, when you think about just building new homes, and that becomes the racial wealth gap that we talked about, the real driver that we're looking at as an organization under Kevin's leadership is really about how do we stay true to our mission and drive more scale and help more people in the same ways that we have done historically, through home ownership, through reparation work that we'll do. And how do we actually continue to do that and do more of it? That's the challenge for us, because if anything, as I've said to you, just a few minutes ago, what we've realized is there's so much more that needs to be done in our community. And so the question really becomes, how do we do more of it, but not to the point where we just get way out over our skis here, right? Can't do that. But how do we actually drive greater scale and still do it in a responsible way? Kevin, I don't know if you'd add anything.
Yeah, I would agree. There's the need is great. There are lots of opportunities. But Chip's right. We have to do this in such a way that what makes us unique about Habitat and the impact that we have and the relationships we have with homeowners and the community, that we hold on to those things as we do that. So, and we've built a great team here, both with the board and staff. And, like Chip described, getting through the pandemic, getting as many people to pull on the oars as possible. And I think, one of the things we're trying to do better is gauge what the need is, to actually have data that speaks to that, and to build models that we can really evaluate and have data that speaks to the impact, so that we can share. We already kind of know empirically the change that we're making with families, but we need that data to help us kind of go to the next level. I think as funders look at how to make a difference in our community, they want to see it backed up by real numbers and research. So that's the other, I think, challenge for us, because we have the stories, we have lots of great stories, but we need that other piece of it too to go hand in hand with that.
I think the other piece here, Anjanae, is you think about just our team at Habitat, we recognize that the team's been impacted as well through this cycle, and being sensitive to that, acknowledging that, and also learning from that while we're moving forward. And in addition to that, the reality of it is we all know that Kevin celebrated 25 years with the organization and has provided steady leadership over those 25 years. But he's also got the next leg of life's journey that is narrowing here and shortening. And so succession planning will be something that's important for the organization as we think over these next couple years, and how do we continue to retain the talent that we have in the organization and attract the talent to the organization that will continue to set us up for decades to come to support the local community.
Well, then I guess that's a question I want to ask both of you. Both of you are heavily involved in the communities and as leaders in the corporate and nonprofit world. What legacy do you hope to leave on the community now, or even 10 or 20 years from now?
For me, there's a couple things that come to mind, and it's really one. I hope that people see our company as a partner, with me serving as the market president for Bank of America and representing the 6,000 people here in the organization. I just hope that our community sees us as a valued partner, and we helped address some of the complex societal issues that exist across the nation, but even here in our local community. And we helped do our part to create a better community for all. And, synonymous to that is, I hope that I can contribute in some way to help move that journey along. And if that happens, that's a great thing for all of us. And that's what I hope is when you sit back and you think about it, it's about the community views us as a partner that's trying to do the right things, and that I'm a part of it with our 6,000 plus teammates here locally.
And you, Kevin?
Well, in some ways, I'm going to go back to what Chip, what you led with in the question, and what Chip was talking about first, and that is, I think, relationships matter and how you treat people. So I think part of the legacy for Habitat that I want to leave and myself is how you treat people, how you build trust. And I think that that's also related to the legacy of being focused on social justice. We would love to be able to build all the housing that's needed, but we know we can't. But I think what's also important is how we do it, how we treat people with respect, how we build trust, not only with the people we serve, but in the communities we work with. I've heard that people appreciate that they recognize that, and that means a lot to me, that we're an organization that cares in that way. Because I think that's, too many times in these communities, people perceive, if you're not in the community, you're really outside, and that is true. But, making the time to listen to people and to you know, try to involve them in the process is important. And I think that's what we're trying to do here.